In this episode of Opera Talk, we're bringing you a special treat. We go behind the scenes with the cast and director of Portland Opera to Go's The Elixir of Love, recorded live just ahead of the performance on September 19th and 20th at the Winningstad Theatre in downtown Portland. Associate Director of Education and Outreach, Alexis Hamilton, moderates a lively conversation full of laughter, insight, and a few surprises. You'll hear directly from acclaimed stage director Kristine McIntyre, as well as the artists Jietong Fu, Stacee Firestone, Wayne Arthur, and Edward Tavalin. They will talk about what it's like to bring Donizetti's romantic comedy to life in this unique touring production, from playful character dynamics to the magic of sharing opera with schools and communities across Oregon. Don't miss this fun, engaging chat with the creative team that makes the music and the love potion sparkle on stage. For tickets and more information, visit portlandopera.org.
Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful that all of you are here and that all of you at home are here so that we can welcome the extraordinary artists of Portland Opera to Go. For those of you who don't know, my name is Alexis Hamilton, and I am the Associate Director of Education Outreach for Portland Opera. And Portland Opera to Go, or POGO as we affectionately call it, is my favorite thing in the whole world about what I do. I have done 26 seasons of Portland Opera to Go in a variety of incarnations, both as an artist and as a tour manager, and now I get to run the whole thing. And it is one of the best things that Portland Opera does as a service, as a corporate citizen, and as an ambassador for opera as an art form. For those of you who don't know, Portland Opera to Go tours with 50-minute, typically English language, sometimes bilingual English-Spanish, youth operas. Many times they're adaptations of operas that a kid could grow up and see in the theater, and we'll talk a little bit about that with Kristine McIntyre, our director and librettist adapter for this, as well as our new Our Oregon series of original Oregon-based operas. But this year, we are doing the Elixir of Love, which is charming. Yes, thank you. Absolutely charming. Portland Opera to Go tours throughout Oregon and Southwest Washington. If there is a dot on the map of Oregon and they want opera in their school, we will do our best to make that happen. Whether it's this year or next year, we will try and make that happen because we want opera everywhere. So we have been to Tiny Fields, Oregon, way down on the Nevada border, and had kids from Nevada come up to Oregon to see us. We have been out in Astoria, and it's everywhere in between. We really are the A to Z of opera tours, and we are unique in Oregon for bringing performance, live performance, into the schools at this scale. So I'm very proud of this program, and Portland Opera should be very proud of this program. So that said, enough of me. I would love it if we could just initially just go down the line, say your name, say where you're from, and tell me what your part is, what your role is with the company this year. And we will start with you since you're there.
Hi, my name is Chloe Kim. I am from Michigan, and I'm the music director for this production, and I also play many notes on the piano.
I'm Kristine McIntyre. I adapted this version of The Elixir of Love, and I'm also directing it for the third time, and I live here in Portland.
Thank you. I am Stephen Chris Gardner. I am the tour manager of POGO. This is my, I believe, 7th season with the program, and I am Portland-based.
Hi everyone, my name is Wayne Arthur and I'm playing Belcore in The Elixir of Love, playing the lover boy of the show, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Happy to be here in Portland.
Hello, my name is Stacee Firestone. I am originally from Hawaii, but right now I'm based in San Francisco. I am playing Adina.
Hello everyone, I'm Jietong. Originally come from China, and I'm now based in Baltimore. I'm a lyric tenor. I play Nemorino in the show.
I'm Edward Tavalin. This is my third season with Pogo. I'm originally from Santa Cruz, California, and right now I'm living in Portland. Oh, and I play Dulcamara.
Everybody remembered everything they were supposed to say. I'm so proud. So I want to start with you, actually, Kristine, and I will parade back. I want to start with you a little bit because you are responsible for the vast majority. I think there's only one show in our stable that you have not adapted. And there's a good reason why we keep coming back, because they're wonderful, wonderful productions. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about your process and what your priorities are when not only taking a 3-hour opera and taking it down to 50 minutes, but also when we're talking about operas for youth.
Great, thank you. I think the biggest thing is you have to figure out what story you want to tell. Every opera has the story that we think it is, the story that it really is when you pull apart the libretto. And then there's a multiplicity of choices that you can make. And so the first thing is what story do we want to tell in this piece? Then there are the obvious things to get rid of, like the chorus, since we don't have one of those. And any character that I don't need immediately goes. And then depending on the story that we've decided to tell, what music do we really need in order to tell that story? And any music that doesn't tell that story probably is going to wind up on the chopping block, because I have 47 minutes to tell the story of the Elixir of Love. So it narrows your priorities very, very effectively, the time crunch, and just keeping to this idea of what story is it. Then there are other considerations, certainly. Making sure that everybody's got something fun to sing, making sure that if each character has an aria or something that really showcases their talents. And then there's language, because I'm taking it, in this case, from Italian, a language that I am more than intimately familiar with, being a native speaker, and translating it to English. In English, we tend to rhyme differently than we do in Italian libretti of the period. The nerds will know that the Italian libretti of the period rhyme A, B, B, A, just because that's how the poetry is set up. In English, when we write songs and we rhyme, we tend to do A, B, A, B. So it sounds strange to our ears sometimes, and you have to work extra hard to make sure that it rhymes, but it has to rhyme in the same place and in the same way that Donizetti set it up, or it doesn't work. So it's me with a rhyming dictionary. A lot. And if you're writing a patter song for Dulcamara, not only does it have to rhyme, but it has to rhyme in a way that he could reasonably sing it at pace. Right. So it's a lot of me singing patter in my house to the cat to see if it's even possible. And they're great fun. It is, in some ways, cutting them down is not the hardest part of the story. I would say that then the language adaptation and making it have a point of view is actually the thing. And of course, this one only has to rhyme in one language. The bilingual barber rhymes across both, so that was a whole other kettle of fish.
So just staying with this particular show for a minute, because those of you who have been around and have seen many Pogo shows know this is a very unique look for us. I mean, I'm very proud of all of our shows. All of our shows really inhabit a world, but this is a super specific world and a very painterly set. So I want to talk a little bit about the design concept and where you kind of grabbed it and what was important to you about this particular setting.
So the first thing was I wanted to modernize the show, because there was no point, I didn't think, in doing this one historically. And we wanted to set it in Oregon, or at least in the Pacific Northwest. So we chose the 1930s because that's a great period. It's a period where patent medicine, which figures very heavily in this story, was still a thing here in Oregon. And the original set designer, Polly Robbins, and I did some historical research with the Oregon Historical Society in terms of props, and all the labels on our patent medicine stuff are based on real Oregon patent medicine designs, which is awesome. But we wanted to control the color palette and to find a version of Americana that still had a little I would say, weirdness to it or tension. And one of my favorite artists from the mid-20th century is Thomas Hart Benton. So we very specifically looked at Benton's work and were inspired by that in kind of the slightly quirky shape of the set. There are some Benton collages that you can look at that are essentially sort of this look, those clouds, that sort of thing. And the very controlled color palette, very specific color palette of the set, I think very much derives from Benton's work.
So one of the things that all of you are going to get really good at is telling your why opera story, how you had it, because there are a lot of kids who have A, no frame of reference, B, why on earth would you choose opera? And C, it is really compelling. This is a challenging art form that requires a lot of discipline, a lot of training, a lot of work before you can be prepared to get on the stage. And so, it's not for the faint of heart. So I would love to hear, in 3 minutes or less, your opera journey. How did you get here? Why did you choose opera?
Oh.
We're just going to go down the line again because
Okay.
it's easier for me, and that way I can circle around like some sort of Disney ride boat.
So I started piano, and when I was spending a lot of time in a very small practice room with a piano alone, I did feel lonely. But when I first started playing with singers, I loved just being surrounded by so much energy that was not a piano alone. So then I just felt this is fate for me. I love being surrounded by singers and also so many other people who are involved in operas, like choreographers or stage crew, technicians, electricians. So it just felt so cool to me, and I wanted to be cool.
I'm actually proof that the whole bring kids to dress rehearsals works, because I saw my first opera, it was The Barber of Seville, at a student dress rehearsal in San Diego where I grew up. Ironically, the set was from San Francisco, and exactly 10 years later, I was the assistant director on that same production at the San Francisco Opera. So it was a crazy case of my life coming full circle, and the proof that I was doing exactly the right thing, because Barber's also the first thing I directed at the Met, so it's figured quite heavily in my career. But for me, it was just that I'm a storyteller. I've always done theater. I also play instruments, and I love languages, and opera was the place where all of my nerdy things met, and I can go to a movie and then buy an expensive art book, and it can all be research.
Excellent. As the tour manager, why opera? You were nice enough to hire me. My background's in stage management, especially musical theater, and working a lot in the Portland area. I was working with Oregon Children's Theater, and we went on tour with Pedro's Path to Power. And so I did that for several seasons. And when I found out that the opera was hiring a tour manager for Portland Opera to Go, which is a much larger tour and more broad when it comes to the places that we go, I was really excited. So I applied, and I am not traditionally an opera person, though every single opera that I do here is usually my first exposure to that show. And so every year I'm learning, and especially learning from the lovely artists that I get to travel around with. So every season's educational, fun experience.
Why opera? Well, in high school, I thought, why not? I went to a performing arts high school, LaGuardia High School in New York City, and so on the first day of class, they gave us Italian art songs, and I didn't have a frame of reference at that time either, and so for me, it was really exciting to get to learn how to read music and how to play the piano, and there were all the different languages in opera: Italian, French, German, English, obviously. And so that was exciting for me as a young, kind of nerdy kid back in the day. And I felt like there were just so many things about opera that I could like immerse myself into. And then I had a lot of really great mentors come my way. In high school, in particular, one of my teachers, Priscilla Baskerville, love you, Miss Priscilla Baskerville. And she is an incredible soprano, and she did Porgy and Bess around Europe, and I was just so inspired by her, and I felt like I could do something distinct as a singer in opera. And my first aria that I ever learned was actually Come pari de vezzoso, which is from Elixir of Love. And now I get to sing that aria in English here in this production. So that's why opera, and I'm still loving it.
My story is a fun little interesting one, and I'll probably change it for the kids once they ask. But I got started in opera because my mom was actually diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer when I was young. And she had like a list of stuff that she wanted to do before she passed away. And one was to see an opera. So she took me to Die Zauberflöte, or the Magic Flute. And I heard the Queen of the Night's aria for the first time. And it was life-changing. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I started crying in the theater. Like I couldn't believe that was real, and that was something that someone was physically able to do. And so the next day I run to my vocal teacher. I'm 11 at this time, and I'm like, please, I have to sing this song for my mom. And so our next little recital, I sing this song, and she sits me down afterwards, and she tells me, like, that's the reason why I'm gonna keep fighting for you. I want to see what you become. I want to see how you grow. And she's alive today. I got off the phone with her like 20 minutes ago. And of course, like, I do it for her, but I do it for myself, and I do it because it brings me so much joy to be able to challenge myself and also to make other people feel things. And I just got done singing the Queen of the Night aria at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. So life is good.
Well, my story is when I was 6, I started to learn play piano and sing. And when I go to college, I should make a choice, right? Either piano or singing. And I'm lazy. I don't want to sit at the piano like 6-8 hours every day. So I feel like, okay, I want to sing. But that's when I really get into the training. I say, okay, that is a long journey with a lot of missions I need to do. But I love it. Why I love it is because, like, for me, it's like opera is like with very long history, 500 years, right? Yeah. So it's like, even now today, I can still hear the music, the story, everything from our ancient. That is a very romantic thing for me. And also, it's also very good to, perform this music to the audience. So, I love singing, I love acting, I love tell the story. So opera is you know how wonderful the opera, the art form for me. Yeah. So I think that's my story. I trained in China. I got my bachelor and a master's in China, and I got my DMA in Texas, and I got my performance diploma in Peabody. So I do a lot of training, and now it's time on stage. Yeah.
My journey into opera is by most accounts quite late, and in the beginnings of it were surrounded by women in various capacities. So for me, it was my late Nana who raised me with my mom, and she inspired me with music first. I feel like I've always been a bit of a performer, but I was in athletics. I was in sports growing up. My high school didn't have a music program. We did have a theater program, but I was busy with every sport, and by every sport I mean even cross-country mountain biking. That is a real thing in Northern California. Yeah. And And it wasn't until I was 22 that I stumbled into, long story, but I stumbled into a group voice class at a community college, Cabrillo College down in Aptos, Santa Cruz area. And I thought it was all about learning by just taking notes on the procedures of how to sing, not getting up and doing it. And so I was scared, and I sang completely off the voice, as we say, and I didn't have any breath control, and it was a mess. And I wasn't taking it seriously until towards the end, and then I started taking it seriously, and the teacher said, no, really consider this. I know maybe feels a little late, and you don't know how to read music and this and that. I come from a family of teachers, and so I'm walking down the music hall one day, and I overhear that the choral director, this is kind of the crux of it all, needed a TA. And I'm like, I know how to be a TA. My mom's an elementary teacher. My Nana was a special ed teacher. My sibling is a career tutor and test proctor. My dad did college instruction. I got this. Lo and behold, I also have to teach kids choir and take conducting class twice a week, which is not a community college thing. So I studied day in and day out, and it wasn't until I had an aria to sing. It was Ombra Maifu was my first one. And I found a recording of Dmitri Hrostovsky singing it. And meanwhile, I'm singing Ombra Maifu, not understanding what my coach, he wasn't really my vocal teacher, but my coach was trying to get me to do. And then I see him with his posture, and he really gets his whole voice going. And from then, it was this experience of that full body, athletic experience, moving across the stage, storytelling, being a performer. And that was the moment that I thought, okay, let me see if I can really do this, or go into music education. And I've gone back and forth with those over the years. But that was the moment where it all started. Yeah.
So, all of these folks can attest that, so the process is people audition for me, they send me their resumes and their headshots and recordings and all of that jazz. And then we do an interview. And in all of these interviews, I am really specific and say, this is opera Peace Corps. Now, a lot of these kids are too young. They're like, they don't remember. That's not true. They know. But it's opera Peace Corps. It is the toughest job you will ever love. Are you sure? Because it ain't. I loved this job both as a tour manager and a singer, but I didn't love every day. Right? I mean, I love the job, but I didn't love every day. There are early mornings. It can be cold and wet. It's a long day, and you're loading the set, and you're doing the whole thing, and you're answering questions, and kids ask weird things, and you have to like try and figure out how to parse what they're actually asking you, and la 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 la. So I ask all of them. I'm like, now, are you sure? And I'm sure that some of them find it odd and are like, are you trying to convince me not to do this job? And yeah, I am. Because it's hard and it's vitally important. So we have a mix of folks here. We have veterans. We have the grizzled veteran, Stephen Gardner and Kristine McIntyre, of course. But Stephen Gardner's been on 7, right? This is your 7th? 7th tour managing tours. He is a hero. My hero, actually. And we have a couple of singers here who've done it more than once. So Eddie has done it 3 times, and Jietong is returning to do it again. And so I'd like to ask the two of you why you came back besides the money, which is copious. Copious. So much money. They're raking it in. My God.
Okay. So, one random little factoid about me, I love to drive, and there's a lot of driving involved here. I love to travel and see new places and also return to some places where maybe I didn't go to that one coffee shop that I want to go to. No, that choral director, that choral teacher that I mentioned, where I became her TA and had to study 12 hours a day, writing out all of my scales and key signatures and learn how to teach children music that I didn't know yet, or know how to read yet. That experience of 2 years of teaching the kids, when I was done, I felt like, no, I need to keep doing this somehow. So I do have a very small studio, but otherwise, I love teaching the kids. I love interacting with the kids. And I didn't know how much I would love it until I started teaching the kids choir. The first semester, of course, I was just being a helper, going, okay, I can read the words so I can point to where they are. But by the second semester, I was in charge of the group called Dolce, which was the 7 to 10-year-olds. And I just kind of discovered that naturally I was very good with these kids, and I was very much of a performer for these kids. And so I also taught the older kids. We had younger kids on Tuesdays and older kids on Wednesdays. And I found that I was good at it, and I enjoyed it, and I felt the joy coming from them, and I loved it when they got something that they didn't understand before. And every breakthrough for them was a breakthrough for me. And so I carry that into Pogo, going into classroom time, having the talkbacks, which are one of my favorite things, with the kids. And just performing for the kids is wonderful as well, because you can really feel the give and take of the energy in a gym or in a community center where it is that more intimate environment. And the lights are up, so they see you seeing them seeing you, as it were. It's all around just a wonderful experience. So teaching and performing together and getting to be on the road, that's why I do it.
Well, last year we did She's Real American Story, and I feel like before the tour beginning, I feel like it's really the children will get that, but it is. They really get it, what we want to talk to them, what they want them to learn, and that's impressed me. So it's like I suddenly find that this job, the meaning of this job, is like I can do something. So that's a big reason I come back this year. Even it's like just Elixir is like a entertaining show, but even we can bring some love there. It's also good. Maybe this is their first opera show, right? So make some good memories. Also the best thing to the little kids and also to me. So yeah.
Actually, I love what you said about it might be their first opera show, and I want to expand on that, because sometimes it's their first and only live show. Sometimes it's the teachers in the room first and only live show. We have been to places so rural there isn't a movie theater. By the way, little towns are losing movie theaters. For instance, the Dalles has no movie theater anymore. The closest movie theater is Hood River. So this is going to become more common, where kids haven't even been in a movie theater, and there is something very special, and I'm going to do my pitch and be on my box, and then I'll get back to you. But there is something vitally important about the connection between an artist and an audience that moves both and reminds us of the human condition. It is not the same to stay at home. It is not the same to go to the Met broadcast at the movie theater. It is not the same. It is about being in community with other people, experiencing something that is ephemeral together, that what you're taking away is a feeling and a presence. Live singers create an energy. You feel them in your body. That's science. That's real. And it isn't the same to just stay home. And if we can build a new generation that remembers what it's like to be in a room with others, experiencing something that's finite, that is part of why we do this. we are investing not just in the opera singers of the future, we are investing in the human beings of the future. We are investing in the artists of the future. We are investing in the business leaders. We are investing in people who will be responsible for what happens to society. And having some art in there, I know that sounds grandiose, but having art underlying that, ballasting who we are as humans, is vitally important, and that is why I hire the types of people that I do, because it's about more than artistry, always artistry, but it's about more than that. It's about who you are in the world with these people. Okay, that's my box. Did you want to say something? Wayne wants to say something. Yes, please do jump in, because I'm going to run out of questions.
So actually, I will take it back to 4th grade when I was playing clarinet, and actually before that, they came to our classes and they showed us how to make a sound with the reed of the instrument, and it just blew my mind. I didn't even know you could like do that, or I didn't understand the difference between each of these instruments, and that was that little seed moment that opened the door to music in my life, and I didn't even take it that seriously, but it just was fun. And for me as a young kid, as a preteen, finding out about music was something that really helped me to find self-esteem and self-worth, because it's like almost like a superpower, you know? Everyone can say what they want about you, but at the end of the day, you know how to sing, or you know how to play an instrument or something like that. And so I always remember those moments. And right now, arts programs are being cut left and right, and it's kind of like a thing of the past, and hopefully we can keep it alive and share things with students and with the communities that will inspire them to prioritize the arts because of the value that it brings to our society. And so for me, these are also philosophical questions that I grapple with as an artist, as a person moving through the world. You know, what is the point of what we're doing? And I think being able to talk to young people in all of these different communities will help me to learn why we're doing it, which is an ongoing question. And so that's really exciting to get to share about how you make a sound, or what goes into this kind of art form. And it's really an honor to be able to share that kind of information with students, because you never know where that's going to go and how it'll maybe turn something on inside of them. So it's really exciting to get to do this.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. So, what time do we have? Great. So, let's see. I wonder, Stacee, is this your first rodeo as far as like being on tour?
Tour?
Yeah? Okay. So tell me what you are most excited about.
I'm most excited about working with children.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Don't turn back.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I am most excited about working with children. I love kids. I used to work in camps growing up, and galleries where we would like show kids around. I would teach them about art, or I used to babysit all the time. But there was something in me that kind of switched when I turned to high school, and I was like, wait, kids aren't like little fragile things. They're just little dudes, and I love them. And they're just friends that are so excited to learn and so excited to be a part of things. And yeah, it just brings me so much joy to work with them.
So Chloe, you've been around. You've been doing stuff, a lot of stuff actually. So what made you decide to come here? Because you have options, right? So I wonder why you decided to come and be with us.
I've heard so many great things about Portland Opera, so that made me go on their website. And also, for me as a traveling musician, I see how important, especially now, it is to raise and nurture the next generations of opera audience, which we don't really see happening at the moment. And if we can just plant a tiny melody in the children, and maybe in 15 years later, they will hear something and they'll be like, I heard this somewhere. And then they'll be curious and they'll be interested. I think we have done our jobs. Also, I want to say working with children is so special because the best performance I had in my career was one that I played in an elementary school in Korea, and it was a 40-minute program with 2 pianists. And after about 18 minutes, it was the end of my Mozart piano duo with a friend pianist. An 8-year-old boy screamed, "You guys are so good!" And that never really happens in a concert. People don't just start screaming that we are great after 18 minutes. And also, he raised his hand and he said, "Can I go pee?" And that made me so happy that we had to take a 10-minute intermission at a 40-minute concert. So we all had a pee break, and we all came back, and we started with Dvorak. And I loved how responsive and reactive and honest they were, and they felt safe that they could do that in a concert. And still, that 10-minute pee intermission, it was the best intermission in my life with a life of intermissions. So I find so much joy and reward playing for young audiences, and I know I see in their eyes that they will come back to this after in 15, 20 years or 1 year. Yes, so it's so rewarding, maybe the most rewarding. Yes.
No, I think that's really true, because I get asked a lot by adults. It's always an adult that asks this question. It's never a kid. I always get asked by adults, well, how do they react? How do they feel about opera? Do you get a lot? I mean, I have had teachers. I had a principal once introduce us when I was tour managing. They said, "This is the Portland Opera, everybody. Shut up." And then they said, "We know you're not going to like it, but be quiet anyway." And I was like, wow. I'm like, you're going to love it. Bravo, brava, bravi tutti. And yet, guess what? They all sat still. They all watched it. They were all fascinated. When I was tour managing, I would sit on the floor with the kids. I don't do that anymore because it doesn't work. But I would sit crisscross applesauce on the floor with the kids. And I was watching this particular show, and it was Cinderella. And this little girl, the kindergartner, kept inching closer and closer and closer until suddenly she was sitting in my lap. And she had no idea who I was or what I was, or she was just mesmerized. And that's the thing. Kids like stories. Kids like music. Kids want to be entertained. Kids don't mind that they don't understand absolutely everything right away because they're used to it, right? I mean, they don't know. So it's never a kid that's worried about what the opera is. It's the grown-ups around them that are worried about it. So yes, and that's one of the fun things, because they'll scream at you. They'll go, and the best thing that you will experience is they're going to sing your music. You will hear them in the halls singing your music and trying to sing like you. Okay, last question, because I have neglected you shamefully, Stephen. Why do you come back? Because your job's hard. I love the fact that you're there and that you sometimes do classroom time, because it's really important for them to understand that there are lots of jobs in opera. And as someone once pointed out to me, the only people that work consistently in theater are stagehands. So tell me a little bit about why you come back.
Why do I come back? I'm an adult who loves field trips, and so this job is not like your average job. It is not your 9 to 5. We will sometimes wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go do a show, or have a show at noon, or have a show at night. But in between, when we're on the road, we get to spend a lot of time together and go on field trips. And we get the opportunity to see a lot more of this wonderful state of Oregon that a lot of people don't get to see. We're going to go out to the coast. We're going to go out to the Idaho border. Like you said, we go down to the Nevada border. We go to the Oregon vortex. I absolutely love finding out what is in that town that we can do. And it's just a really fun way to experience our state. Also, when we go into these schools and I start every performance with a brief speech of what they're going to expect. And sometimes the kids are thinking that we are rock stars. And it's just such a fun feeling to be going into these schools, interacting with them and the teachers. And then also afterwards, going out to a restaurant or going out to a bar together and meeting the locals and talking with them, playing pool with them. It's a really special, unique job that I have not found anywhere else. So all of those elements together, and the fact that I'm constantly on my keeping me on my toes, this job is wonderful. So that's why I'm here for a 7th season, hopefully more to come.
It's really true. You can't just know that you will never be able to phone it in, because every show is completely different because something has gone wrong. Not every time, but usually. I want to give a quick opportunity for anyone who might have a question. Just shout it out. I'll repeat the question and get it in. Yes.
Is there a curriculum that goes to the schools before everyone shows up?
Excellent question. So the question was, is there curriculum that goes to the schools ahead of the opera? Yes, I spend a lot of time writing curriculum and lesson plans that feed into. So we have in the curriculum, we have both opera-specific lesson plans. What you don't know is that the opera makes a fantastic cross-curricular opportunity for creating lesson plans, because what is opera? It's a story that's sung, but it also has visual elements. It also has theatrical elements. It's almost always based on some other work. So there's always a literary tie-in. It's got a historical setting. So it is a fantastic opportunity to teach anything you want to teach using the opera as a springboard. So yes, indeed, there is curriculum. Yes, it is a teacher's to keep. Yes, it is something that they can use in their classrooms year after year, because it's something that will continue to grow. So there's both opera-specific, there's both Elixir-specific, there is also math and science, because guess what you have to know how to do if you're going to build a set? You have to come in under budget, right? So there's lots of opportunities for people to hook in. So yes, thank you for the question. Yes, there's curriculum. We're still booking. Anything else? Yes.
Are there repeat locations, schools, community centers that you're going to go to this year that you've been to before?
Absolutely, every year. We have venues that ask us every year. And if we are available, there's a lot of in-town schools that we go every year. In fact, you wouldn't think that an elementary school could handle Bohème. Oh, yes, they can, because they know what opera is, right? So yes, we go to Astor, we go to Laurelhurst. There are schools out in the hinterlands. We're going back to halfway. They'll have us every year. I couldn't get to Fields this year, but they called me. So we'll be back again next year. So yeah, we have a lot of repeat customers, but that doesn't mean that we're not interested in new customers. So please, come on down. We're still booking. What? Yes? Where are we going for the first time this year? We are actually in town this year, and I want to say, I can't remember, City View Charter. is our first school this year. And then we will go out. And then we will go out, we'll be in the I-84 corridor, we'll be rolling down through the Dells and Ione, and then Hermiston, and then we'll come back into town, and then we'll roll further and go down to Ontario and hit that. So yeah, in and out, in and out. How can folks, you can come see our public performances of the Elixir of Love. That's a really easy way to get your toe in the door. And we open on the 19th, and then we'll have 2 matinees on the 20th. You can go to our website. I am sure there's a donate button on the website. You can donate, because the reality is, here, I had another soapbox. It's a taller one. This soapbox is all about the fact that opera is expensive. Even little operas are expensive. Every time we pull into a parking lot, it costs us at least $1,500 to put these people on the stage. We don't make that money back from our venues. We do charge our venues. Currently, we are charging $2 per child in attendance. As you can imagine, that does not begin to cover our costs. I also have never turned a school away that really wanted us to come. We tithe about 10% of our shows are completely free to the venue. So Portland Opera to Go is heavily subsidized by people who care about the arts, by people who care about kids, by people who care about human connections, by people who want our children to experience the world, and in a way that is not banal, that is magical. And so we will take anything you got. We'll take your $25, we'll be thrilled. We'll take it. We'll take your $2,500, we'll take your $25,000. And be thrilled. And so please, yes, support us. Come see us. When you see us around, when we're in your town, say howdy, wave, you'll see us. We're opera singers, we look different. And let us be with you. Let us be present with you. Let Portland Opera be present with you. Come see us. Let us be present together, because when we're all together, we're doing the best thing for the world. So, now I'm off that soapbox. Any other questions before we wrap this puppy up and get some wine? Anyone? Yes. Oh, I have had boxes and boxes, reams and reams of letters and drawings. Last year, kids gave us this one young woman, I think she was in middle school, right? Yeah, we were in middle school, and she drew, as the opera was happening, she drew all of the characters and then presented that. We get letters from kids. We get teachers have sent us work samples from the curriculum. It is harder now. Because teachers are kind of up against the wall with what they have to try and get done. That said, yes, we always receive something. We always get something. And again, we get those repeat customers. They're coming back. We have had kids, like for instance, Trinity Lutheran School is a K through 8. And there are kids who've had an opera there every single year. They have seen us every single time. So that sometimes means they've seen a repeat with a different cast. So yeah. Anything else? I think there's food and wine that is available for this lovely group. I want to thank everybody who has been here and been with us here present in the room, and everybody at home who has sat through the whole thing. We love Pogo. We're excited to have you out on the road. And guess what, everybody? We will see you at the opera. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Opera Talk. As always, visit portlandopera.org for tickets and the most up-to-date information about season events and happenings. Remember to subscribe so you never miss a beat and stay connected with all things Portland Opera. Until next time, keep the music in your heart and opera on your mind. We'll see you at the opera.